Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome once again, as always, to another helping of Mr. H's Hot Pot. Join me today out on the West Pennine moorlands in the Lancashire area, where I've come for a bit of a bimble, trying to walk off some of those mate and prater pies that I've been having and indulging in recently. Now, Lancashire is heavily connected to witchcraft and the occult, the dark arts, call it what you will. Not least because of the Pendle witch trials of 1612. And I've covered that in previous videos. And it's hard to believe, Hot Potters, that in these modern, enlightened times in the 21st century, there are still people who believe in the dark arts and the occult, and they practice witchcraft and magic. But apparently it still goes on. Case in point, and the theme of today's video, on these moorlands somewhere, there is allegedly a farmhouse ruin, and in the stonework of the ruins, someone has carved occult symbols, or sigils, as they're known in the trade. And that's what we're going to be trying to find today. Now, I'll be honest with you, Hot Potters, I do have a healthy respect for things supernatural, and as such, I'm not going to name the area of the West Pennine Moors that I'm currently in. If you know where this farm cottage ruin is that I'm talking about, as they used to say during the war, be like Dad and keep mum. In other words, don't post it in the comments below, as I'll just delete your comment, basically. And we're going to take a look at it today, and we're going to see if we can find out what it's all about, because there are some really unusual symbols on this stonework that I've seen from the odd photographs that are kicking around on the internet. Needless to say, there are a lot of theories out there about what this is about. It's spooked quite a number of hikers who've made to it and then found these symbols and probably thought they was in a scene from The Wicker Man or something like that. Come, it is time to keep your appointment with the Wicker Man. So, I'm going to not make it public where this is located. Now, I'm quite away from it. I could go straight across the moorlands. I could chance my arm and see if I could get to it there and shave a bit of time off my journey. But I'm going to stick to the footpaths, because at least I know where I am then. So, join me in half an hour to an hour when hopefully I've located this farmhouse ruin and we can take a look at these sigils and try and work out what this is all about. Right, Hot Potters, welcome back. I'm now making my way along a bit of a gravel path. This is one of the main footpaths that cross over this moorland. I'll just show it you. And it's a little bit better for walking along. I've left the muddy track from the last portion of the video behind. Now, I was hoping to walk directly to it using the old footpath that would have been once used to take people to the farm. However, as this ruin has laid here since the late 19th, early 20th century, it's now all overgrown, and despite not wanting to cross over the moorland, I think that's just what I'm going to have to do. I'm just going to have to suck it up and take it, Hot Potters, if I want to get over to that farm ruin, which is just roughly where I'm pointing. You probably can't see it in the distance there, but I'm thinking that that is the ruin that bears these sigils. Now, these sigils are only about 10 years old by all accounts, as there are hiking forums out there with photographs of these farm ruins, and they don't make any mention of these rather strange symbols, and I'm sure they would have done if they'd have been there 10 years ago. So, wish me luck. I'm now going to make my way across this moorland. It doesn't look very good and inviting underfoot, as you can see, but I'm just going to have to give it a go. Unfortunately, what looks good on Google Earth and from up above, and it looks quite easy to traverse, when you actually get on the ground, it's a bit difficult. So it's just one of them things, Hot Potters. I want to go and document this, and I do suffer for my art. So wish me luck as I make my way across this uneven moorland. Well, Hot Potters, I've found it. I managed to make my way over the moorland, which I wouldn't recommend doing if anybody out there manages to work out where this farm ruin is for themselves. Stick to the paths, as it's very uneven underfoot. Luckily, I've got Wellingtons on, and I have fallen a couple of times, but luckily I've landed on my derriere, and it is a little bit padded, so I'm not hurt. But if you're coming up here, especially on your own, stick to the paths. Don't do what I did. And here it is, Hot Potters. Now, this farm ruin, it dates from about the 18th century, and it was probably abandoned late 19th, early 20th century, when whoever lived here, either they passed away or they left the farm to go and seek work in one of the towns below. And it's no different than any of the other ruins that litter this moorland. There's about 50 of these cottages dotted about. Some of them, they're more substantial than others, and this one is one of the more substantial ones. And it's only really become sort of famous in whispered circles because of the symbols that we're going to be taking a look at. And if I can find them, one of them clearly shows dark magic. It clearly shows that somebody has been up here possibly worshipping the devil, as one of the symbols does feature the old classic, the stereotypical 666. Anyway, I'm going to whip the camera around now and let's take a look at these symbols, shall we? So we'll now make our way onto the rubble of this old farm ruin. I have to be very careful, Hot Potters. I don't want to be going bum over pap. No idea what this little square area is, whether or not it's been used as a fire pit at some point or not. Who knows? It doesn't appear to be original to this building. It looks like it's been built post-demolition. One of the old beams there from the roof. And the way I located this area, I looked at pictures on hiking websites that document these cottages, and it was that stone formation there. I saw it on someone else's video and I thought, aha, that's the place, and that's why I've been able to come straight to this, where other YouTubers have searched for this place in vain. Bits of rubbish in there, don't know what that's about. But apparently, all of the action, the ceremonies, spells, call them what you will, took place in that area there. And that is where we'll find some of these strange carvings. I just have to make my way down very carefully. And here's that one with the stereotypical 666 on it. There's 16, which is a number 9 as you look at it. Have another one there. And then another one there. And this large stone here, which would have probably been a lintel or a foundation stone at one time or other, this has symbols carved in either side. You can just make them out there. What looks like an infinity symbol. Now there are pictures online of this stone stood upright. I'll try and put that in now for you so you can see what it looks like.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
And you've got this very odd symbol. I've no idea what that represents. If anybody knows, please leave a comment below. And then you've got another symbol there which allegedly, from one of the hiking websites that was taking a look at, represents water. But again, unless you know what these symbols are, you're just guessing, really. That's another one. And is it me, or does that look to have been made into like a seat? Bit of a throne. And you can see why they've chose this particular spot, as it's very remote, it's isolated up here. And if I just stay quiet for a moment, the silence is actually deafening. Now, I don't know if you can just make out there, but that, where that gentleman or lady's walking along that path, that is the nearest you are to civilization, if you will. So I can understand why they've chosen this. Like I say, it is known as the witch's cottage, but I can't find any evidence of that being so. I think they've just chosen this one because of its remoteness. Now, it does make you wonder if that stone was moved in here. And if that's the case, that would suggest a group of people and some considerable strength needed to bring it in here from this other pile of rubble here. And indeed, some considerable strength would have been needed to push it over. Whether or not that was just someone's come up here and they've not liked what they've seen, so they've damaged the area, or whether or not the landowner has come over and decided to stop whatever activities have been going on here from taking place. But this could still be an active site, who knows? Who knows what energy this area has been charged with. And that stone over there, we'll go and take a look at that. I don't think there's any carvings on that. But that'll give you some idea of the size of stone that would have been in the middle of this area. Now, there is the theory that all of this has just been a hoax, that somebody's come up here, carved those symbols into those stones to try and fool people and spook people. But if that were the case, you would do it on one of the ruins that is right at the side of the footpaths, and you'd be able to discover it more easily. It's only because one or two hikers have wanted to document these old farms that they found them. That would give you some idea of the sort of stone that would have stood up in the middle of that ruin. So some considerable strength would have been needed. And as I say, that suggests to me that a group of people have come up here. But other than these strange markings, like I say, there's nothing remarkable about this ruin. That little building over there, sort of set off to the right, that would have been the outhouse. And then at the back there, there's a well which is filled in and run dry now. But yeah, witchcraft and occult on the moorlands. It still goes on. All these years later. Whether or not some of these bigger stones have carvings on them and they've got turned over, I don't know. I'm not going to start turning stones and bricks and things over, but the more I look at that, that definitely looks like some kind of seat. Imagine someone sat there and then that large stone being upright, and funnily enough, smack in line with that other stone there. Who knows what kind of spells have been cast here and the reasons why. Right then, I'm now going to whip the camera around and I'll wrap this video up, I think. Right, Hot Potters, with the mark of the beast behind me, I'm now going to make my way out of this little temple, worship area, call it what you will. And hopefully I can make my way back to civilization without any problems, and Note will follow me home. And then I can edit up all this footage ready for your edification as always. But what's your thoughts on this, Hot Potters? It's a real strange one, this, as it's the sort of thing that you see in films like The Wicker Man and The Devil Rides Out and things like that. You don't actually expect to see something like this. So it is rather strange. But please leave your thoughts and your comments below. As I say, it's rather fitting in making this video as we are in the Halloween season, aren't we? It just shows that it's not all going round knocking on people's doors trick-or-treating, as there is a serious side to this, and some people do take it very seriously. Right then, I'm now going to hopefully find the footpath away from this farm ruin and make my way back to the old jalopy. So wish me luck, Hot Potters. Until the next time, bye bye for now.